The constant struggle against your own reality is the root of your suffering. The more you resist, the more pain you experience. Sounds shocking, right? We live in a world where we are taught to push against our circumstances, to fight for what we want, and to mold our lives to our desires. But what if the secret to true peace lies in non-resistance, in stopping the fight with what is? In this video, we're going to explore the profound philosophy of Zen non-resistance. You might find yourself pondering questions you never thought to ask. What does it really mean to accept reality? How does this acceptance dissolve suffering? And more importantly, what happens when we stop resisting our emotions, our situations, and ourselves? Imagine standing on the shore, watching the relentless waves crash against the rocks. Each wave represents a struggle, a thought, or an emotion that you resist. The harder you fight against those waves, the more energy you spend, and ultimately, the more shipwrecked you feel. But what if you could just stand there, allowing the waves to rise and fall without them overwhelming you? This, my friends, is the essence of Zen non-resistance. Research shows that individuals who embrace acceptance tend to have lower levels of anxiety and depression. They experience life with a sense of calm even amid chaos. But how do we transform this theory into practice? Let's journey together through the steps of dissolving internal conflict. First, we have to identify what resistance looks like in our lives. Some of us resist our feelings. We shove down sadness, anger, and fear, thinking they have no place in our lives. Others resist their circumstances, wishing desperately for change rather than recognizing what is. This push against reality creates an internal battle that drains us. So, how do we stop resisting? The first step is awareness. When you feel a strong emotion, don't turn away. Instead, acknowledge it. Say to yourself, "I feel angry," or "I feel fearful." This simple act of recognition takes away the power of the emotion and brings you to the present moment. Next, practice acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean approval. It means recognizing that this is how things are right now. It is about allowing events and feelings to be as they are without judgment or criticism. When you accept, you create space. This space allows for reflection rather than reaction, for understanding rather than fighting. Consider for a moment the common enemy we all face, the societal pressure to be constantly positive, to project confidence, to endure without feeling. This pressure perpetuates suffering and fuels internal conflict. But acknowledging that it's okay to feel uncomfortable can be liberating. It's a part of being human. Let's break down another layer, the beliefs that keep us trapped. Many believe that being vulnerable is a weakness. They resist showing their true emotions, fearing judgment or rejection. But in reality, vulnerability invites connection. When we embrace our struggles, we allow others to relate to us, and thus strengthen our bonds. Now here comes the transformative part. Imagine having the ability to observe your thoughts without being swept away by them. This is the practice of mindfulness. By observing without judgment, you can learn to diffuse emotional reactions. You'll build resilience with each experience, understanding that these feelings are temporary. Here's where you come into play. If you're intrigued by this journey and want to dive deeper into concepts like these, make sure to subscribe to Stoic Zen Voices. By joining this community, you empower yourself with knowledge that can enhance not only your life, but also those around you. Now let's explore a practical exercise you can adopt. Think about a situation in your life where you feel a lot of resistance. It could be a relationship, a job, or even a personal goal. Bring this situation to mind and pause. Ask yourself, what would happen if I stopped fighting this reality? Allow yourself to breathe, to feel, and to accept what is. Notice the weight that lifts from your shoulders. Also, consider journaling about your experience. This will help solidify your reflections and can serve as a source of insight for future struggles. Write about your feelings, your blocks, and the moments of acceptance that you encounter. Over time, you may find patterns that reveal your subconscious beliefs. Each time you engage in this practice, you become more adept at recognizing when you are resisting. It takes time, patience, and compassion toward yourself. Remember that the goal is not perfection, it's progress. And with each step you take, you are better equipped to handle life's inevitable challenges without succumbing to suffering. As we progress, I want you to visualize how life could feel if you embraced non-resistance fully. Picture yourself navigating challenging situations with grace, moving through emotions with fluidity, and finding peace in acceptance. This vision is not just a fantasy, it's an achievable reality waiting for you. You might be wondering, what about the desires and aspirations we have? Should we abandon them? Absolutely not. Acceptance does not mean passivity. Instead, it opens the channels for clarity and intention. With a clear mind, you can pursue your goals with renewed vigor, no longer weighed down by the burden of resistance. Remember this, the journey toward Zen non-resistance is not a destination, but a continuous practice, a shift in perspective that can change your life. You have the power to dissolve suffering by ceasing the struggle with what is. Allow yourself to feel, to accept, and ultimately, to thrive. Letting go begins with a simple truth. Most of your suffering doesn't come from what happens. It comes from your fight against it. You resist your emotions, you resist change, you resist the parts of yourself you're afraid to face. And in that resistance, you tighten the very knot you're trying to escape. But imagine, just for a moment, what would happen if you stopped fighting? Picture yourself standing at the edge of the ocean. Waves rise, crash, and fade. You don't stop them. You don't control them. You simply breathe and let them pass. This is the essence of Zen non-resistance, allowing life to move without letting it swallow you. When you acknowledge an emotion instead of burying it, this is fear. This is anger. It loses its power. Acceptance softens pain the way sunlight dissolves morning fog. It doesn't mean you approve of what's happening. It means you refuse to suffer twice. The moment you stop resisting reality, a quiet shift occurs. A weight lifts, space opens, and you finally feel what you've been craving all along: peace. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stop the fight. Let the wave rise. Let it fall, and let yourself breathe again. Now take a deep breath and embrace your journey. The waves may crash, but you have learned to stand tall amidst the storm. This is your path to peace, and it begins with a single step toward acceptance.